Now, key concepts in positioning elements. So we are going to talk about what? The building blocks. CSS treats each HTML element as if it is in its own box. We've explained this extensively. This box will either be a block level box or an inline box. So we all know what block level elements are and then what inline elements are. Block level boxes start on a new line and act as the main building blocks of any layout, while inline boxes flow between surrounding text. You can control how much space each box takes up by setting the width of the boxes. To separate boxes, you can use borders, margins, paddings, and background colors to what? Differentiate or to distinguish between different boxes. So some examples of block level elements, which is all the headings, let's say H1 to H6, all paragraphs, types of lists, okay, they are all what? Block level element, and they start on a new line. Whilst inline elements flow in between surrounding text, and examples include the image, the bold, the italic, the env, okay, the strong, and what have you. Now, containing elements. If one block element sits inside another block level element, then the outer box is known as the containing or the parent element. It is common to group a number of elements together inside an element, inside other block level elements. For example, you might group together all of the elements that form the header of a website. So this includes the logo and the main navigation, which we have given examples, and then we've done it in our previous lessons. The element that contains this group of elements is then referred to as the containing element, because it is like the parent or the mother block element. A box may be nested inside several other block level elements. The containing element is always the direct parent of that element. I'm going to show you an example. Okay, you see the header. The header contains logo and the main navigation, and they are all in a box called the div. The main content of the page is in another, and the footer is also in another. So you have the main box, which contains the div, the main body, okay, and then within the body we have other divs, one for the header, another for the footer, even articles and other things, and aside and sidebars also have their own boxes. Other boxes that forms a parent of this group of boxes is what we call the containing element. Now, controlling the position of elements also, you should know positioning schemes. Now, positioning schemes allow you to control the layout of a page, either normal flow, relative positioning, and absolute positioning. You specify the positioning scheme using the position property in CSS. You can also float elements using the float property. Now, normal flow. What is normal flow? Every block level element appears on a new line, causing each item to appear lower down the page than the previous one. Even if you specify the width of the boxes and there is space for two elements to sit side by side, let's say you indicate the width and the width will not span the whole line, there's no way two of them will sit on the same line. The other must drop because it is a block level element. They will not appear next to each other. This is the default behavior of the normal flow, which is the block level element. What about relative positioning? This moves an element From the position it would be in the normal flow, shifting it to the top, right, bottom, or left of where it would have been placed. This does not affect the position of surrounding elements. They stay in the position they would be in the normal flow. What about absolute positioning? This positions the element in relation to its containing element, which means its mother element. It is taken out of normal flow, meaning it does not affect the position of any surrounding element. Okay, or absolutely positioned elements move as users scroll up and down the page. To indicate where a box should be positioned, you may also need to box offset properties. You use the box offset properties to tell the browser how far from the top or bottom and left or right it should be placed. Fixed positioning. Now, when you are using fixed positioning, it is a form of absolute positioning that positions the elements in relation to the browser window as opposed to the containing element. Elements with fixed positioning do not affect the position of surrounding elements and do not move when the user scrolls up or down. Floating elements. Floating an element allows you to take that element out of the normal flow and position it to the far left or right of a containing box. The floated element becomes a block level element around which other elements or content can also flow. When you move any element from normal flow, boxes can overlap because you are now changing positionings, either relative or absolute, or fixed or floating. If it is not the normal flow, that means there could be possibility of overlap of boxes. Now the z-index property allows you to control which box appears on top of which one. That's the z-index.